the sun is just starting to climb up over the treetops. And it's gonna be a beautiful day, that's plain to see.
Welcome to Bill Dance Outdoors, America's most popular and longest running TV fishing show.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.
It's been a favorite and often quoted saying among fishermen, the good Lord doesn't deduct from a man's time on earth the hours spent fishing. And since there's 7 times more water than land, man should be allowed to fish 7 times more than he works. Ooh-wee. Whoa, buddy. Coming up. Ooh, here we go. Boom. Well, looks like we're off and running. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, man should fish 7 times more than he works. You know, that saying is probably older than baseball, but somebody believed it. Apparently, a bunch of somebodies. Because today, there's over 70 million folks doing it. 70 million folks doing it. Woo, that's a lot of folks. The thought underlying this theory is that fishing so soothes the soul and relaxes the mind as to vastly increases one's chances for longevity. Woo, I sure hope that part about longevity is true, because I, for one, hope to do this forever, and then maybe even a little bit more. Coming up. Whoa, Nelly. Whoa, man, look at that big old mouth. Come here. Boy, he went deep. Look at that. Big old long, slanky bass. Okay, buddy, go home. Gone. All right, let me tell you what we're going to try to be doing today, okay? Now, the majority of the bass in this area are in a depth of about 2 to 8 feet of water. At this depth, there's quite a bit of vegetation extending out about 1 foot to 3 feet, or even more than that, off of the bottom. Now, we're fishing a spinnerbait here, and what we're doing, we're just slow rolling it through and over the submerged grass. Just trying to, a lot of it you can see and a lot of it you can't. But with polarized glasses, I can see it. And what I'm doing, where I see it, I'm just keeping it just, I can see it bait about 2 feet deep right now, that big flashy blade. And I fan cast it a little bit. I'll throw it up on top of it and just slow roll it.
Dance Outdoors. Sponsored by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Rebel, catch fish anywhere. And by Mercury Marine, go boldly. Today's Conditions Log is brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development. Come experience the kind of beauty that can only be made in Tennessee. Go online today for your free Tennessee vacation guide.
Good one. Pretty bass. Come here, turn around. That's a pretty fish. The particular spinnerbait we've selected to use is ideal for this situation. It's Bass Pro Shops Laser Eye Pro Series. The size is 3/8 of an ounce. It's got a sculptured head with incredible detail. It also sports a quick change skirt. It's got a super sharp hook, plus a nickel-plated willow blade with a small Colorado blade behind it. Both produce tremendous flash. For years, spinnerbaits were generally regarded as shallow water lures, but today, more and more fishermen are discovering they're great for fishing in deeper water. For use in deeper depths, the willow blade models are more popular. They have less water resistance than rounder blades, therefore they're easier to work deep. They don't have the tendency to ride up on the retrieve like blades that have more resistance. Watch him go right up onto the boat. Got a spinnerbait and bait. Look at you all hooked up. Hold it. I can't even get you. Got you. Hooked up there. I'm about to get it. I got it. Look at that one. Look at the color on that fish. Ain't he pretty? Woo! Fat birdie. Yes, you are. Okay. I'm going back. There we go. Another tip for fishing spinnerbaits deep is to use a fine diameter line. Now what I'm using now, especially, I said fishing deep, and fishing in vegetation too, is to use a fine diameter line. I like to use a braid. Now this is a fine diameter braid. This has a mono diameter of about 8-pound test. So it's 30-pound braid, but it has the diameter of 8-pound mono. Like I said, it's plenty thin to let the lure get down quickly, yet strong enough for plowing through heavy cover and ideal for getting a good hook set due to the low stretch factor. So it is a fine diameter line, but it's got the strength, it's got the abrasion resistance, it's got the sensitivity, and as I said, the small diameter. I've got about a 20-inch section of fluorocarbon leader off the the braid down to the spinnerbait, and it's 30-pound test.
Today's show is brought to you by Quantum Rods and Reels. Quantum, performance tuned. Pure Marine Odor Eliminator eliminates foul fish odors from gear, compartments, and empty live wells. And Tracker Boats, fish the finest. Today's equipment log is brought to you by Gamakatsu, because the fish of a lifetime only comes once in a lifetime. Today's show is sponsored by Monster Marine Lithium. Lighter, stronger, longer. Bill Dance exclusive rods by Quantum. We have an action for you. And by Garmin. Fight your fish, not your fish finder.
Like I can see the vegetation, lighter spots go out and maybe make a point. What I do, I just hit the power pole, drop it down. And I'll sit there, and that allows me to work a spot, fan cast a spot. I can sit in one spot and work an area for as long as I want to. Down that grass. Whoa, boy. Good one. I never get him up. He's all back up in that stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna get him. Woo! Boy, he went right in it. They know where home is, don't they? Nice. Here's where he went. Here we go. Look at him, he just plowed right back in it. Bit trailer. See how that thing holds that out. Ooh. Okay, whatever type of submerged cover or structure you're fishing, there's 3 basic retrieves that'll definitely help you. 3. 1 is to position your boat deep, cast into the shallow water, and then retrieve downhill. Now remember that when doing this, a very slow retrieve will allow the lure to swim in a downward arch. Another good retrieve is the parallel retrieve. This is where your boat is positioned over the edge and your caster made parallel to it, letting the bait sink to the proper depth and then retrieving. Finally, the third option is to position your boat shallow and cast out deep. This allows the spinnerbait to gradually climb uphill. Now the uphill retrieve allows you to stay in contact with your lure at all times. It also keeps your lure very close to the cover than the downhill retrieve, and it's especially productive when bass are holding tight. Now this particular presentation can cost you fish, however, if the cover's thick. In this position, you're pulling your catch into the cover, as well as your lure. pretty one.
The Bill Dance Question and Answer of the Week, brought to you by Bill Dance Exclusive Rods by Quantum. Whether you're fishing for panfish, bass, catfish, or light saltwater, we have the action for you. Available at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.
Does anyone make a rod holder for a rectangular rail that comes on some pontoon boats? Yep, they do. Millennium Marine. This rod holder is universal to fit most boat railings regardless if they're round, square, or flat, and has 180 to 360 degree rod adjustments. Made with anodized aluminum and comes with a 1-year warranty.
Today's show is sponsored in part by Millennium Marine, a new class of comfort. And by Garmin Force Trolling Motors, fish with force. Closed caption provided by Power Pole, the original shallow water anchor. Today's product tip is brought to you by Garmin and their GPS map series, chart plotter sonar combos with their advanced sonar technology. Like Panoptic's Live Scope all-seeing sonar, you'll spend less time finding your fish.
Conservation is a key factor in our sport's longevity, and my good friends at Ego have the perfect accessory to keep fishing alive. It's Ego's Cryptek Conservation Tournament weigh-in bag. The bag is designed to provide a safe and friendly way for both tournament and recreational anglers to transport their fish to the weigh-ins. You can also add a separate aerator into the built-in side pocket. It's the first and last weigh-in bag you'll ever need.
Come be part of Bill Dance Digital. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Follow us.
You know, a little earlier, we mentioned the importance of blades. You know, for the type of fishing that we're doing today, this particular blade right here, the willow leaf, is perfect. And we got it backed up with a little Colorado. But the shape of the willow, it's long, it's thin, it creates a minimum lift, very little vibration, and water resistance. And it works extremely well on deep, slow retrieves. It's a great, great blade. The willow-bladed model will pick up less weeds than rounder type blades. When working a spinnerbait through clinging submerged vegetation like we have here, the longer, slimmer willow leaf blade rotates closer to the axis and flops from side to side, generally bouncing off the vegetation. Round blades spin around the shaft rather than flop around and pick up a lot more weeds around the swivel that connect the blade to the wire. Most of the fish we're catching today are in about 2 to 8 feet of water, and the retrieve I'm using is nothing really fancy at all. It's just a standard slow roll retrieve, a steady horizontal pull, and as you can see, this method is highly productive for active bass. You're just reeling along. You just stop your retrieve for a second, and what it does, the bait starts to fall, and then you just pick it up again and start it right back again. You can stop it, just let it flutter, but keep your rod tip ready. You don't want to just let it flutter and have your rod up like this and not paying attention. You want to be in a position, boom, where you can set the hook. Today the bass are fairly active, however, so a slow, steady retrieve is our most productive presentation. If there's one thing I've learned, there's simply no shortcuts to success, except to say that you've got to do whatever it takes to catch fish. You've always got to experiment. The same lure color, size, and presentation won't work every time. Good fishermen have learned from experience that they must be versatile in order to catch bass on a regular basis. Ooh, there he is. Around it. Just do the little number and slow down. Hit it right at the boat too. Had several do that. Okay. Pop. Big old slinky one. Tug back to the pond. Back to the river, back to the lake. You know, fishing spinnerbaits demands a lot of physical effort than many other lures and forms of bass fishing, especially the way we've been fishing it today. It does require some careful thought, however. Critical boat position is very important. Lots of confidence in what you're doing, a bunch of patience and techniques for methodical retrieve. Now, if you lack any of these, you're going to have very little success. However, if you made it a point to slow your pace and flash the deep, you better stay on ready, because the big thump is often only a cast away. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching Bill Dance Outdoors. Join us here again next week.
Now I've gone fishing with Bill Dance today.